guys. Welcome back. Nice to have you with us. If you are joining us for the first time, my name is Katie O'Connor, and I am the Business Development Manager for Casting Frontier. And I have been doing these Instagram Lives for the last several weeks, and we've had all kinds of guests on, managers, agents, casting directors, all walks of life, to give you guys some tips and just kind of, still stay connected during this pretty crazy time. So with that being said, my guest this week is a vocal coach, and she is also an artist developer. She's, and we'll get into that during our session, but she's been in the business for about 20 plus years. I'm reading off some of her credits. She's worked with the likes of Edgar Winter, Neil Diamond, Juliette Lewis, and some award-winning singer-songwriters as well. So let's see if she's joined us yet. Take a look. Yes, she's here. All right, guys, without further ado, here is our guest for this week, Valerie Fahren. She's going to be joining us. Looks like she's logging in. Hold, please. Oh, and guys, if you have any questions for Valerie, please put them in the question widget at the bottom of your screen. It looks like two cards with a question mark on top of them. And because if you put your questions in the comment section, it's just going to get scrolled and I'm going to miss it. So please put your questions there for Valerie when she gets here. It still says waiting, so we'll just give it another second. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see. Let's give this a try. One more time. There she is. Let's give it another shot.
Hey.
There she is. Hi.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
Great, thank you. Great. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here today. This is awesome.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. So the way that this works is I'll ask you a couple of questions, and then we're going to turn it on over to our audience. And then you guys can feel free to ask Valerie whatever you like, whether or not you're a singer or you're an actor who's looking to start singing, or you're a singer who wants to look to start acting. We're going to cover all that stuff with this interview. So again, please put them in the question widget at the bottom of the screen with the two little cards with the question mark on them. That's going to be the best way to do it. So our first question is going to, my first question is that in addition to being a vocal coach, you also work in artist development. So
right.
Our viewers who may not know what that means, could you explain what that would entail?
Sure. Well, the origination of artist development came from Motown Records, Berry Gordy, back in the 70s, I guess it was, where record labels used to take people, when they would sign them, they would develop them in the label. They'd say, oh, you're a talented, let's sign you, let's develop you in the label. And so as the years went on, artist development moved out to the out of the labels more. I mean, sometimes they still do it, but mostly it's for outside people. So then what I did was, because an artist development in singing is teaching the person how to perform, teaching the person how to sing properly, what songs they should use, what style they should do, how to breathe properly, how to get a song list together. So what I did with that was I merged it into the acting industry as well, which is basically developing an artist. Let's say, for example, they want to be on TV. They want to be a lead role in a Disney series on television. I have a lot of people that come to me for that, lots of young, talented kids. And so basically, I just, I sit them down, and it's an individual development thing. So, for example, if someone wants to be on TV and they want to sing, they want to get, be the next Hannah Montana or something like that. So I evaluate, I look at what their skills are, how good they are at certain things like acting, stage presence, what their voice sounds like, how they want to present themselves, what their goal is, what type of character should they play, all that kind of stuff. and we do different programs and drills and training in those areas to bring any weak points up to being more professional, so that when they do go to audition and they know how to audition, they know how to walk in the room, they know how to do a reading, they know how to do a scene study, they know how to do like a callback, you know, they know how to, you know what I mean? So it's like, it really like fills in all the holes and develops the artist. So I do a tailor-made program for each person. So everybody's different. So some people might just want to be a singer, and then when they get big, they want to be in film, you know? So that's like a different game. That's a different avenue. That's a different things that need to be developed.
Sure. And we've seen that throughout history, you know, Streisand, Gaga, like there's been these cases that, you know, that there's been that crossover.
Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. So, you set up showcases for your clients. That's one of the services that you provide. And so what would go into arranging a showcase? And how and I know that's a lot. And how does an aspiring actor get involved in showcases? Because right now, I think, you know, digital showcases are some of the best ways for actors to get in front of casting directors or potential agents, that sort of thing. So what would be your advice?
Right. Well, you know, just to like basically over the year, I've been doing showcases for 25 years. And so basically, I mean, there's, you know, what I do is, and what I am going to do actually in September is I'm going to be doing a live, you know, Zoom showcase. I've been meeting with some different managers and agents, and they're really excited to be part of it. And so basically, what I would do, I mean, you can contact me and see if you want to be in mine, but you know, there's various ways to find out about, I don't know if Casting Frontier has things that, you know, talk about what showcases are out there. And, you know, I mean, basically you have to, well, you need to decide that you want to do something, right, in the business. You want to get something going, and then you prepare you mean as far as preparation, or you mean as far as finding places to showcase? I'm sorry, can you?
No, sure.
Is that good?
Yeah, for you, I would say, you know, and maybe also for our viewers so they can have a little perspective as well. What goes into planning a showcase, you know, just sort like in terms of everything from, you know, a list before the pandemic, renting out a space, or now organizing a digital hangout, getting in touch, like you said, with these managers and directors and producers, and what is the responsibility on the performer's end?
Okay,
what
thanks.
they bring.
Good. Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah, that's good. So, so basically, you know, what I do is I find artists that want to get an agent, get a manager. Maybe they want to get seen in front of a record label. Maybe they want to audition for American Idol or America's Got Talent. So what I've done in the past is I put together a panel of judges, and they're usually either a major record label and an American Idol casting person, maybe like an independent caster, a manager, agent, that are very, very well known in the business. I've had a lot of people over the years, and then I have like 35 other managers and agents that come as well. And I give them dinner, and they watch the show, and if they're interested in my clients, you know.
Yes.
So now
is a great incentive for industry professionals.
Oh my God. Yeah, totally.
In my experience.
Yeah. And so, anyway, so what the actor or the singer has to do is they have to prepare, like normally on a live, if we did it live, it would be like maybe 2 or 3 songs and maybe a monologue or a little skit between each other. Because most singers want to be actors, or most actors, you know, want to be singers as well. That's why I like to work with people that like to do, like, you know, be the triple threat type of thing, right? Maybe they dance, so they can do it like a dance thing or whatever. And so, but now, with the Zooms, what's going to be needed is maybe one song, maybe one monologue, because it's a little different sitting down on a Zoom when you have, you know, if you have, like, say you have a manager, an agent, a record label, and some other, you know, types of, you know, record producers sitting there watching on screen. So maybe we do a shorter one, you know, and we do less people. So it's a little bit more personalized, and which is kind of good, because then people have more chance to actually, you know, just be seen without any distraction. But what they need to do is they really need to prepare, you know, because this is like, when you do a showcase, which I've been doing for 25 years, you need to bring your best, like you need to bring your best monologue or your best scene, your best song that shows off your entire range as an actor, that shows off your entire range as a singer. And you need to be likable. You need to know how to put all that across. So they're like, wow, that person's really talented. They're really versatile. They seem like a really great person. I'd really like to work with them. And you need to, like, what I do with my guys is that I have them practice all their scenes and their songs for like 12 weeks, like the really intensive developing, and for me, that's proven to be the best thing. And then we do a lot of rehearsing, like we would do like a dress rehearsal Zoom call to make sure everything is set up properly, all the miking, all the techniques, so that they, and it's a different game because you have to be comfortable in front of the camera. You have to be able to talk in the camera and get people to get what you're saying, right? And like, it's like a different game, but it's like you're already on TV, so they can already see, oh, wow, that person looks great on film, or they don't, or maybe they're ready and maybe they're not. Maybe they look, nervous, or let's get them relaxed, like, get them comfortable with it. Then the more they do it, it's really, 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 it's drilling correctly. That's what I always say. Working on your craft and doing it correctly over and over and over, so that when you're there, you just do it. So anything that comes up that might be a surprise won't throw you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that it's important too for actors to learn to adjust to this new way of life in terms of auditioning and show and filming, because, for the singers and dancers, for the, which is traditionally musical theater, it's going to be a while before we're going to see anybody in theaters anytime soon, unfortunately. So I have to change the medium where we can still, see these kinds of performances. And so I think that not only is production process changing, but the audition, the showcasing process in and of itself is changing. So how do actors join a showcase?
Well, if you mean my showcase or just any showcase,
or advice that you would give, if generally, if there was another, industry showcase that would pique their interest.
Okay. Yeah. So basically what I would do is, they can always contact me, but I would reach out to, and certain agents might know, like if you're an aspiring actor, certain agents know, they find out about showcases. You can contact them and ask them. You can contact me. And basically it's just, if like, say, for example, if I don't know you and I haven't met you yet, I'm totally open to helping new people. I just, I would need to have some type of submission. Like I would want a nice picture,
right.
I would want, a demo, a little, maybe if they have a link to YouTube, they have their stuff on YouTube and I can take a look at it. Or SoundCloud is a good place to put some stuff up. So, it's high enough quality material, it shows off the best, and we know like all about how the lighting should be and the sound and all that, right? So that's always good to do. And then if they're accepted to the showcase, I don't honestly know what everybody else does out there as far as the way they handle their showcases, but what I do is I have them audition, and then if they are ready, or if they're close to being ready, they can always work with me on my artist development program and get, spruced up in the different areas they might need, like maybe they need more work on being more comfortable, or they need to be more natural, or their vocals need a little tweaking, or maybe the style they're singing is not really the style that's, like, they want to sing certain things, but maybe they're a little bit better in something else. Like I have people that are, they're really good at musical theater, like more, animated.
Yeah. It's a different style of acting.
Totally.
Because the dialogue is leading up to the musical number. So it's sort of that anticipatory tone that tends to come with a lot of, musical theater acting. Whereas if you're working with like an Aaron Sorkin kind of a script, that's very different.
Totally. And it's like, if someone wants to sing Ariana Grande-ish, or they want to do, sing more like, Idina Menzel, on this Broadway or whatever, there's like totally different, like the pop thing is a lot more chill. It's a lot more natural. It's a lot more relaxed.
Yes.
The Broadway is more like, yeah, well, whoa, it's like, it's more like out there and boom, so it's like a whole different technique to singing, different styles and presenting, because some, because I've heard just, I've heard so many different things from the judges over the years. They'll say, well, that person really doesn't know who they are as an artist yet. So let them work it out a little more, because that's a really big thing that's needed and wanted, is that the actor, the singer, they know who they are. They know who they are as a character. They know who they are as an, a singer. They know what their style is, because just because someone likes an actor or they like a singer, that doesn't mean that they fit into that. There's a difference between being a fan and liking something and developing and being professional and knowing who you are, as presenting yourself,
I completely agree. It's about knowing what your brand is and exercising that brand at all times, whether or not that's your singing or whether or not as an actor. I worked in commercial casting for a long time, and that is an industry in particular where your brand needs to be at face value, because you're only doing a 15 or 30-second spot. So you need to know exactly who you are and present it at all times. It's a great Dolly Parton quote, which is, know who you are and do it on purpose, which I've always loved. And
that's great.
And that's what it is, because I see a lot of actors who will come and they'll do monologues from famous movies, and they'll emulate the performance that they saw in the film. And it's great performance. Brad Pitt did a great job, but I don't want to see Brad Pitt. I want to see your interpretation of it.
Right.
That's what makes it interesting, as opposed to trying to be like a Stepford actor or a Stepford singer, as I call it.
Right.
But
Exactly.
Yeah, there's only one you, and that's what we want to see as casting professionals. How boring would all of our entertainment be if every actor looked the same and sounded the same and gave the same performance?
Yeah, exactly. And that's totally true. Like, actors and singers have the same thing. They have the same job, and because I say you've got to be a good singer, you have to be a good actor. It's really true. Like, and if you have to be a good, to be a good actor, you have to be a good singer. Maybe not, but it's like they definitely go together, because it really is getting those lines, getting, the song, the lyrics, and really making them your own and communicating, emoting in present time, creating that feeling in present time. Like, I'm not a big fan of going back and remembering sad experiences and singing them. I like the actor to, like, there's different techniques, but like creating in present time, especially if you're on stage, especially if you're in the recording studio, and you really got to get that communication, that natural impinging communication, in present time it's so key.
Yeah, I think we see younger artists today, like Billie Eilish, I think is a good example in terms of an artist.
Who's that?
Billie Eilish.
Oh, yeah.
I think she's a good example of an artist who doesn't necessarily have this big belty power voice like Adele, Ariana Grande, or anything like that, but she emotes so much on stage, even if it's a quiet emoting that she does, that makes her audience fall in love with her, because she shows ability and is very open about, a lot of her own personal issues and things like that, which again plays into your brand. Even your flaws, even what you consider to be your warts, that's all part of you. And that's that we want to see, because that's what's endearing to us as a public. We want to see somebody overcome obstacles to achieve what they want to achieve. It's hard to root for the guy who's, captain of the football team and super good looking and everything just works out for him. It's like a little dull. It's when we see personal struggle, we relate to that, because we all have gone through our own thing.
Exactly.
So it's singing or acting. That's what the point of these art forms are. It's to connect with your audience and to relate. So I think that whether you're singing or acting, that goes in both directions.
Yes, and that's such a great point. I'm so glad that you brought that up. Thank you, because that's actually something that I really find very important as a teacher, as a coach, is that, you have an artist, you have this beautiful artist in front of you, and they're very unique. They have a very unique style. They have a very unique personality. And like you said, like Billie Eilish, when I first saw her, I was like, like, I don't know, and then I was like, wow, she really pulls you in. She pulls you in, and you're like, you really want to hear every little word that she says. So for me, just to make sure everybody gets this, is that, for me, this is my opinion and how I teach, but as a teacher, you know, you need to be good at bringing out the best of your clients, the best of the artists, and not try to change their personality, because that's where you can get into acting where you're not really being yourself. So to be able to perceive the talent that's there and pull that out and make that grow is really a skill, and it's really a gift. If a teacher can do that without crushing that actor or that singer and really help them come out, I really love that. I love to see people come out like that. And it's like, they're like, you know, oh my God, I'm like, I didn't realize I could do that, you know?
Yeah.
And I have this girl, actually, she's not similar to Billie Eilish, but she's a little bit on the quiet side, but she's so interesting and she's so beautiful, and her voice is so amazing. And she, you know, she got picked up on my first showcase by this really big manager, and she's been going out in lead roles for Disney and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, boom, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's really interesting if someone can really keep that pure personality and just be able to show that, be able to do that in front of others and strangers, you know.
Yeah.
Like young guys that they go out and they're like, you know, they think it's a stranger, so they're nervous, and you know, and it's like you have to really learn to be comfortable to talk to anybody at any time, you know.
And comfortable in yourself too, because I think especially in this industry, you're going to come into contact with people who are going to try to change who you are, who are going to need to do things to be quote unquote more marketable. That, you know, everything from changing your name to changing your look to changing whatever. And and I think that, thank goodness, we're moving away from that, and we're coming into this of authenticity where that is what casting directors and producers and directors and even studio execs up at that level are now starting to realize that this is what audiences have been crying out for. And I think it's great. So
yes, and that's another good point, is that, you know, I'm really excited about people, like younger people, anybody, actually any age now, because it's, you know, like Simon Cowell said on America's Got Talent, and I never forgot it. He said it like maybe a year or two ago, but he said that it doesn't matter how old you are anymore. It doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. And none of that matters. Is if you're good, we want you. If you're good, the audience will love you. You know what I mean? If you're sincere and you're good, that's really what it's all about. So it's very exciting. You know, we have there's so many people I could mention now that are, you know, that are huge now, and you know, they're not the, you know, typical Barbie person, you know. There's so many different people
as well, and not only in terms of the types of performers that we're seeing, but also in terms of the mediums in which these artists are being discovered. Now we no longer have to go through these traditional channels of you know, of the music industry or even the entertainment industry as a whole. Social media has played a huge role in that. Actors are being discovered on Instagram all the time. Castings are I saw Mindy Kaling, one of her more recent projects, she put out a post on Instagram looking for actors. I mean, the game's changed. So there's new opportunities out there for actors, and who knows, maybe there will come a time where you don't have to move out to LA or New York to be an actor. You know, you can just submit self-tapes from home, from wherever you are. And if they have the budget to fly you out, then great, you know. And I just, it's a brave new world. For sure.
Yes, exactly. And I was just talking to she's a really fantastic manager. Last week we had dinner, and she was saying that, you know, now it's kind of like, it's a lot more facilitating, or like doing the whole video audition. You know, you can do it from anywhere, and then basically when things are ready to go, they just get in touch with you, like, hey, we want you to come out and meet us in person, you know. So it's like really opening even more, kind of lending to that, even though they've done that before. It's really more lending to that whole vibe of just, you can be anywhere, and you know, so it's exciting, you know, it's really great.
Absolutely. So this is gonna be my last question for you, and then we're gonna turn it on over to our audiences. And guys, if you have a question for Valerie, please put it in the comments widget, or not the comments widget, the question widget at the bottom of your screen. Looks like 2 cards with little question marks on them. If you write your questions in the comments, they'll just keep getting scrolled and I will miss them. So with that being said, my last question is, what advice would you give to a singer who wants to become an actor but has no prior experience, And part B of that question would be, on the opposite end of the spectrum, what is the value in an actor taking voice lessons?
Okay, so the first thing regarding if the singer wants to become an actor, obviously, just from my experience, is that they need to get training. They need to get trained. They need to train with people that know how to teach cold reading, that know how to teach scene study, which is basically, most actors know this, but it's basically learning how to read a script. You have to have it ready in 24 hours. And really, learning how to take on a character and making it your own, and delivering that, so the training and the drilling, like I said, like there's really, and I say correct drilling, it's drilling over and really, really working on your craft and really getting good at, and getting knowledge, understanding, looking at, watching different, films or television, whatever you're interested in, watching all those different shows and watching the characters instead of just watching it for the story, which is also fun. But just watching, studying characters and looking at where you could fit in, where a person could fit into it, and how they can, because I basically call that doing your research. It's like when you go and you meet with an agent, or you go meet with a manager, or even with casting, they'll sometimes want to know, like, where do you see yourself fit in? Like, where do you know? So you kind of get to know that about yourself, like, so you get prepared. You get ready. You get, and then you get some good pictures, and then you just have to. If you're doing it on your own, you can always. There's lists available of agents and managers. You can always reach out to them. You can always email them, and you can always reach out to people to get something going. And, I when I do my showcases, I do that. And I also help my guys, like if I feel like they're ready to present themselves, which is ready to audition, knows that they're good at auditioning, so they have a chance of getting something going, mm-hmm. and, getting their materials ready, their resume and pictures and all that, like a digital package now, so that they can present a good, very, very simple digital package. And it's just, it's sometimes, I say go for the big stuff. If they're good enough, just go for the big stuff right away. Don't even, just go for it, And then, but sometimes it's like, if they may sign with someone that's maybe says, okay, why don't you go out in a bunch of commercials first and see, which they're actually starting to do again. I heard going in-person commercial audition. They're starting again. So
I've heard
that's kind of cool.
Of some of that, going on, but most of my friends in the industry are still working from home and still, I mean, they're cautions, but at the same time, we'll see. California's numbers have been getting kind of crazy, so we'll see how long that.
Yeah, and so then, and then there's like, there's certain managers that'll say, well, have them do some independent films, get some experience, So that's always a good thing to do too. Just get on, some like, the student films, like, exactly, some good ones, that you can get on, and even doing
master's theses. If you go for graduate students and when they're doing their masters, because those all have budget, they submit those to festivals. I mean, those are honest to goodness real projects that could lead to something.
Yeah, exactly. And so then basically you get that package together, you get the audition, you can decide like which ways you want to go. But I always say, like, because I like I don't know, I like to think big, and it's kind of like, just go for it. Like, just, if you're good enough, and, it's like, obviously go for whatever you want to go for. That's my opinion, Mm-hmm. I mean, it's, you can book something on your first thing. If, maybe not, but maybe you can, and you just got to go for it,
Yeah.
And as far as actors becoming singers, that was the second half of the question, right?
Yeah, the value of an actor taking voice lessons if they're not necessarily a trained singer.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I don't want to say it's a touchy subject, but it's it's like I've studied voice for, I don't know, a long time, 30 years. When I studied voice, I studied it for 9 years with a Metropolitan Opera soprano. I went to college, got my degree in music. Mm-hmm. I studied with a pop teacher for like 4 or 5 years. I started with musical theater teacher for 2 years, and it's like, it's like going to, it's like dance. It's like, you can't like take a couple classes in dance and just become, be able to be on your toes. It's kind of like, or do a lot of pirouettes or turns, or, like a professional dancer, right? And there's a little bit of, I don't want to say false information, I think, out there. Maybe not. I mean, maybe I'm, I don't want to like say anything that's going to offend anyone, because that's not my intention. But, I'm just giving this data for a reason, because I'm getting to something here.
Okay.
But it's kind of like, so singing, acting, singing, dancing, that's the main things, right, that people do, right, in the business. So it just seems sometimes that the singing is like, oh, I'll just wait until I get an audition, and then I'll just, get a song I like to do, and I'll take a few lessons and I'll get ready, because I've seen that before. And I'm not saying everybody does that, because everybody does not. There's a lot of people that are very professional, and they prepare, but I have worked with some, and I'm not going to mention any names, because I'm not trying to put anybody down, because it's just a matter of understanding and having an education, I think, because there's false information out there that, well, you can either sing or you can't, or you either got it or you don't. And that's totally false. How do you say, like, oh, if you're a dancer, you either got it or you don't. If you can either do pirouettes or you can't, and that's total far from the truth, right? There's actually a technology of singing that you can actually learn, and you can actually get really, really good, and I know that because I did it myself. So it's kind of like, I have worked with some very high level actors that they all of a sudden they get a say they get a musical theater film audition, like, which more of those have come up over the years, and they have 3 weeks, because they have 3 weeks to prepare or something for a lead role in a feature film as musical theater. And then they start doing lessons, and I'm like, wow, like, and they'll say, this is the lesson learned, is they'll say, God, I wish I would have studied longer and gotten better to be ready for these things, because there's a lot of opportunities to sing, out there. There's a lot of different opportunities in film, television, as we're seeing. And it's really like, I just say, and I'm not like trying to promote my business. I'm just saying, whoever you want to study with is fine. But it's really important, I think, for actors to get really good at singing, because that could be their ticket to success eventually, or it could, when an audition comes up. So that's what I would do, because, if they're an actor and they already have an agent, they already have a manager, those guys, they get on the breakdowns. All the great singing auditions are really on the breakdowns, as far as, they're always going to come in.
Yeah.
So, and then if they want to get a record deal, even I know some management companies have like distribution deals with Warner Brothers, and they have different things so they can get their clients signed to labels. And also, you have more of an in. If you're really good at singing and you're really good, you are as an artist, you can also get a record contract,
Yeah, I mean, who knows what comes of it? And I mean, maybe if nothing else, just to have confidence when you're singing, because I think a lot of actors who don't identify as singers, they have a very knee-jerk reaction to having to sing, especially sing live, and something, because for me, when I would do musicals, I was very self-conscious when I had solos, because I've got a nice enough singing voice, but as an actor, you can hide behind a character. And you could be like, well, that's not really me out there. That's this character that I'm playing. But your voice is yours. That's not, there's some accents, and you could do some things to kind of affect it a little bit. But like, for the most part, it's your voice. So I think that's where a lot of actors kind of feel that insecurity from, of like judgment, and is it good enough? And taking these voice lessons from yourself or from another vocal coach can improve confidence. So you're not the best singer, you can at least do it confidently and give a really good performance and still be entertaining.
Yes. And, I'm so also glad you brought that. You bring up such good points, really, seriously. I'm so glad you said this. I'm serious. Really. This is really good news. This is very good news. And I'm just telling you, because I just know this to be true for myself and for other people, when I go, okay, hey, I mean, like I said before, to be a good singer, you have to be a good actor. So anybody, because I have this one person, and I don't know if she's watching right now, but maybe she is, maybe she's not. But I really want to work with her, and she's an amazing actress, and she's done lots of TV, she's in film, she's really good. And I'm just trying to get her to start because I want her, I think she could be fantastic in musical theater and, film, musical theater, Broadway, whatever. And she's such an amazing actor, and I just want to like help her because if you are a good actor, you can be a good singer, because if you're a good actor, you're bringing on these characters and these emotions and these stories. You're telling a story as an actor from yourself, and as a singer, to be a good singer, that's, if you can do that, that is key. So an actor actually already has that talent, that ability that they've learned, and they can apply it to singing. Just being yourself, communicating the story, because every song has a story, and what's his name? Oh my God, from The Voice. Help me out. Sorry.
Adam Levine?
No, the other guy, the other one. He's like my favorite guy. I can't remember his name right now.
The country guy?
Yeah. What is that? Come on. Oh my God. I can't. Ah. Anyway, that's so weird that I'm blanking out on him because I love him. But anyway, what he says.
Gwen Stefani's
guy. Anybody text in the name? Oh God, that's terrible. I mean, he's like so famous, it's ridiculous. Anyway, he's married to Gwen Stefani.
Yeah, that's how I know him. It's just
Blake. Thank you, Blake Shelton. Who is that? Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, the other girl right before that. Thank you. Oh my God. Anyway, I think I need more coffee.
Blake Shelton.
Anyway.
Blake Sheldon. Thank you so much.
Blake. Yes, I love Blake. He's amazing. Anyway, sorry, Blake. Anyway, yeah. So what he says, which is great, and that's in country music, but it's really true for all styles at different levels, But he said you really can tell a story as a singer, and it's like that is what it's about. Getting up on the stage, and if you watch singers that are really good, they're totally telling a story. They're getting that communication right into you as a listener, and they're telling a story. And that's what a good actor does. They tell a great story. And so anyway, that's the good news from that.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's turn it over to our audience, because we are starting to run out of time. We're going to try to get to everybody. And let's see. Okay, so this is from Body Bliss, who asks, do you mainly work with younger actors, or do you help develop even more seasoned talent?
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean, I've worked with all different levels of talent. I've worked with people that have been on Broadway. I've worked on people that have done television. I've worked with people that are just beginning, that are young. I've worked with people that are just beginning and they're older. And, we just find out like what niche is really best for them, that they really want to do. And yes, I mean, I work with people that don't know anything at all to people that are really, really, really knowledgeable. And, when they're really knowledgeable, it's like just any, because I mean, everybody, and I'm saying everybody, but I feel like, everybody needs another person to bounce something off of that might be able to give them some tweaks, in a good way. Like even a famous actor, for example, they like to have someone tell them, hey, like here's a different way of doing it maybe, or this or whatever. So any different levels, anybody. I'm so like, I don't know. I've been doing this so long. It's like, I feel like I can help anybody. It's just really, because I've done so many different things, with different people. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, I suppose, what would you say is, what do you find are the differences between training somebody who is a brand new singer or has never had vocal training before versus training somebody who has a background as a singer and who has had vocal training? Do you think there's specific challenges with each one, or what do you find to be the advantage of each?
Yeah, well, it's like, let's see, how do I say this? A lot of times if say if it's the kid's like 10 years old, like I have a kid that's 10 right now, and she just soaks everything up like a sponge. She has no prior false information that's preventing her from learning something, or that she's got this fixed idea like, oh, I can't do that, or oh, I already know how to do that, or, you know, they don't have, the younger guys, they're just kind of like a sponge, which is great, you know. And as long as their attention span is good, like they can, if someone can be in front of me for at least a half an hour and they can listen and watch and absorb, I'm willing to work with them, you know. Otherwise, they just have them wait until they're a little older or whatever, until they're ready. Now, I have other people that I, you know, that are seasoned actors, and some of them are like very, you know, like I would say, I don't know, I don't want to put anybody down here, but, you know, it's kind of like the more professional you are, the more willing you should be able to still accept information, because you want to get better. But you got to be with someone that you feel knows more than you, or knows at least as much as you do, or has different information that you can actually get something from, right? You know, you need to do that. And when you're really good at something, you know, it's like, it also can be like, oh, I already know that, or, you know, okay, you know, and it can be a hindrance. So when you're really good, you always should, you know, you always should be able to get information. And I tell my clients, I said, listen, don't listen to your friends, don't listen to, you know, whatever, with their advice. They're, you know, because they can come in and go, oh, you should sing this like this, or you should do that, or you should do that character. And it's really like, you need to get advice, I say, always from people that know at least as much as you or more, have a lot more credits than you do, like someone that you can look up to, that's not going to, you know, that's not going to squash you down, obviously,
Right.
too. It's really a good idea.
Lived it too. Somebody who knows what the game is and knows how to navigate it, because as well-intentioned as your friends are, they aren't living this life. They don't, you know, so whatever suggestions they make, oh, wouldn't it be fun if you did this character? Yeah, I guess, but would it fit into my reel? Does it really, you know, portray my brand? Like there's things that they just will start throwing there. And if you let your head get cluttered with all of that, then you're going to lose your way.
Exactly. I agree.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for actors, what you were saying too. Like when I would teach classes, I love working with kids because they are, like you said, they're such sponges, and they're able to pivot so quickly. And I give them a note and they just snap it up and take it. And
it's amazing.
You know, it's great. Sometimes with some more seasoned actors, as we shall say, or even actors of a certain age who got in their heads that because they've been doing this for X amount of years, that they know better. Right. And the truth is that this is a craft, you know, acting, singing, it's always a craft. It's always changing. It's always evolving. Like you said, there's always more new information. There's always something new to learn. You're never done learning acting. It's like, it's why they say you practice yoga. You don't do yoga. You never get to the point where you're like, well, did it, perfected yoga. You know, there always is going to be a line that you can push further. And that goes the same for acting, goes for singing. There's always that line push a little bit further down to end that goal, you know, and once you're done doing that, then you're done.
Exactly. And because what are we all doing this for anyway? Because we want to be in front of the biggest director on the planet and get his direction, right? So you're not going to be standing there with the biggest director on the planet and they're like, okay, can you do it like this, or can you think of this differently? And they're like, no. I you know, it's like, okay, bye, take care, you know. It's like, so yeah, it's like, it's being
present and being malleable and being in the moment. That's really what I think is, and it's so much easier said than done, you know, because I think we see that from a lot of instructors where they're like, just be in the moment. But when you're an actor or singer and you have a huge audition or a giant meeting with somebody who could potentially change your life, you know, it's hard not to let your head spin a little bit. And so that is its own training. There's another question I had from a viewer that it wasn't in our comments section, but it was scrolling and I caught it.
Okay.
Anne Roy, and she asked a really good question. You mentioned the technology of singing.
Yeah.
She wants to know what that is, and so do I.
What it is? I mean, the name of it?
Yeah, what is the technology of singing that you mentioned?
Oh, okay, great. So there's different technologies out there. There's different ways. But what I've done is I've kind of streamlined of some different methods that are out there that have been around since like 1930, 1940, and they're like standard, and I studied opera, and like opera's like the ballet of singing. It's kind of like that's where you get your form, that's where you get your strength, that's where you get your tone development is mostly from opera related techniques. So I just go to the standard opera, like which is Marchesi, 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 and Lutgen, which is Lutgen. They have in my opinion, the most standard drills. Like I use some of those, but I've also made up some of my own drills that kind of fill in certain gaps that I feel, especially because that is opera, so for musical theaters, there's different things to do. And for pop, there's different things to do, additional things, that have come down through the years, different styles and different drills that are needed. But those are the basic ones. But that's what it is. It's like basically a developed scientific approach to strengthening, because we have like 65 little muscles in our voice box, and they all do different things. They all do like high notes, low notes, going up a scale, singing a song low and then going up really high, belting it out. There's different combinations of muscles. So what I do is I train the different parts of the voice with scientifically proven drilling. So the drills that you're actually doing, you're actually strengthening your voice, or actually developing your tone. They're actually creating your range, expanding, so that breathing techniques.
Sure. No, and I think that's classic. Those are things that I think everybody should just have in their back pocket and found a foundation rather. And
totally.
Which leads into some other questions with Giselle_Estrada_. She says, I'm new to the industry. My agency just recently signed me up with you guys, Casting Frontier. Hello, welcome. I have no resume or experience. Where do I start?
I'm really sorry. I just missed the beginning of that. Can you say it again?
Oh, she's new to the agency, new to the industry rather. Her agency just got set up with Casting Frontier, which is great. And she has no resume. She has no experience. So for folks like her, where to start, where to begin?
Okay, great. Sure. Oh, that's great that you're doing that, by the way. That's exciting. Well,
Yeah.
Number one, I'm going to tell you, I just want to tell everybody this, because to me, it's like, so if someone has a purpose, they want to do this business, and my first thing is, get aligned with people that are really positive and really rooting for you and supporting you. Like that is such a big, important thing. That's the first thing. Find people that are going to be like, wow, that's amazing. Let me help you. That's great. Not someone that's going to be like, well, you need to learn all this and that, and you better slow down, and you better do this and that, or it's not going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. Like I go, no, don't do that. Right. But again, that's like, so I'm telling you, because that can make or break your career. Seriously. Like that alone is like so important.
Yeah, who you found yourself with.
Yeah, and so get with people that you like and that you're going to learn from, that are up above you somewhat and can bring you along. It's so important. That's one. Number two, obviously, you need to get some experience on your resume, and that's even like if you've done like the lead in a high school play or something, you can put that down for now, because that's what you've done. I mean,
right.
You can do that.
Not a good idea when you're like 25 to 30. Like that's kind of, if you haven't gotten any other credits from since you were,
Yeah, I would say do some independent films if you do that.
Yeah.
I also, maybe do a couple independent films, find a good coach, find a good class, and start putting your package together, start drilling, start learning scenes, like I said, do your research, because when you go to, I learned this like, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. I went to like Don Buchwald agency with one of my little girls, my little clients, and went to anyway, they're great over there. I love them. It's like, they're one of my favorite agencies, and the guy I learned a lesson from. He's like, well, even she was like, I don't know, I think she was like 11. And he's like, well, do you know who you are as an actor? Like, do you know like what characters you would be able to play? And we were like, and because we weren't prepared for that, and so he's like, you need to do your research. You need to like know where you fit in this business. Like if I'm going to represent you, if I'm going to market you, if I'm going to spend my time trying to find you a role, you need to know where, you need to help me out here. You need to know where you go, you know, you need to know where you fit in. So that was a big lesson I learned. And it really is key because it also helps you develop who you are as an
You can't
artist.
count on your agent to do everything for you because they have dozens, if not hundreds of other clients that they have to worry about every day. So if you just think once you're signed, like, yeah, work's done, now I can just, you know, chill and relax. No, it's a partnership, and they need you to do your legwork in order for them to do theirs because they need to have a product to sell. So it goes to just a nebulous identity of, oh, well, I would love to do action movies and I'd love to do romantic comedy. And it's like, yeah, everybody would. Like, what is your brand? You know, what is it that makes you different from everybody else? And when you're starting off as an actor, improv classes are essential. That is the foundation.
That too. Exactly. Improv. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
Improv classes, scene study classes, even commercial acting classes, because acting for commercials, especially as a new actor, that's going to be your bread and butter until you build up your credits and start going out for, like, you know, studio level theatrical stuff.
Yes, and that's like all standard stuff, and that's absolutely correct. You know, and there's like the cold reading on camera. You know, there's a lot of casting directors that do the on camera classes, which are great because you can learn from the people that are actually going to cast you what is needed and wanted when you go to the audition. You know, it's kind of like, yeah, that's really key. And the other thing that guy, actually, that agent at the time, said at Buckwald, he said, you need to do intensive one-on-one development, you know, and because honestly, I mean, even though I know, you know, I'm just being honest here, you know, everybody should go to class because then you can interact with people and all that stuff. It's good. But celebs, they do one-on-one intensive training. That's what they do, you know? And that's why he suggested that to me. He said, you know, she needs to do one-on-one intensive training, get her up to step, because then you can really focus on the very details of the person. You know, there's different purposes for class and there's different purposes for one-on-one, you know? But I mean, do you agree, Katie? I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, because I mean, that's what I do. And that, to me, you can develop someone a lot faster and they can get ready a lot faster.
Yeah.
You know,
I think if you have the means to hire a private coach, I mean, that is really ideal to get that personal attention. There is value in group classes because oftentimes you will have group auditions or you will audition with another person. So it's important to be able to quickly build a repartee between yourself and your potential co-star, some sort of chemistry that can be established, and knowing how to read on camera with that person that you're not upstaging them and you're not upstaging yourself. So those are all things that come with repetition and time. And it's just, you have to just stay in classes. You just have to, especially while you're building credits or waiting for your resume to get credits. As a casting professional, if you don't have any actual credits, that's what we look at. We look at your education and say, okay, well, she took this class and this class and this class, so she
right. Exactly. That's so true. You're absolutely right. I totally agree. And I think it should be both. I think it should be, if the person can, you know, I mean, but it's like, you know, when you go to classes, there's like other people that you get to know. There's other personalities that you can bounce off. It's just being in a group setting and being out in the world, and not, if you're just like doing one-on-one and, you know, at someone's house or in the studio or whatever, if the person's not active and, you know, in group activity, it's like, can be in, you know, whatever. But, you know, a lot of, like I said, like celebs, I know they do go to some classes, I think, but, you know, a lot of them do like one-on-one. So I'm just saying, like, if someone needs to get intensive, quick going development, they want to get going fast, and they can do that, they should balance it out. But yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said. It was great.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I'm agreeing with everything you're saying too. It's a mixture of both. I think if you study with just one person for your entire career, you're going to be a little sheltered. And I think that if you only do group classes, you may not be able to get that individual attention that you need, especially if you have a really big audition coming up. That's when I would recommend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're starting to run out of time.
What's that?
I know, we're almost up, and Instagram cuts us off at an hour, but I've had a couple of people asking where they can get in touch with you, where they can reach you, if they have any more questions or want more information about, your classes or what you teach. So I'm going to flip this around real quick. And guys, you can follow Valerie here. It's her social media, and that's her website for her classes, her coaching, and her personal management. So I'm just going to put that up there for one more second. And cool. And there you go. And guys, we're going to be posting this on our IGTV channel as well. So you'll be able to catch it later on, the full shebang after this interview is done as well. So I just wanted to thank Miss Valerie Fahren. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of your insights and your information and your professional experience. I think it's invaluable. And I think that this is a side of acting that we don't get to explore too much, but I think a lot of actors really are curious about, because I think, we are artists at the end of the day, and if we love to act, we typically love to sing. So
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much. I mean, really, I've had so much fun. This was great doing this with you. I really loved it. And thanks everybody for being here, watching. I've been watching all the comments, and thank you guys. And yeah, if you want to reach me, if you go to my website, there's a contact tab where you can just email me. At the website, there's a contact tab, just click on it and you can send me an email, and then you can send me a Valerie Fahren at AOL.com. If you want to send me an email, you can do that way. But I kind of prefer through the website, because then I can kind of keep track, and my assistant and I can kind of keep track of, everybody, to make sure they're all in one place. And so whatever you want to do.
Slips through the cracks, go through the website.
Yeah. Exactly. Thanks so much, you guys. I hope I've helped. And, anytime you need me for anything, let me know. I would love to do it again. And it's kind of inspiring me to do some more lives, so I'm excited about that. It's really great. Yeah, thank you.
Give service. And Valerie, thank you so much again. And thank you to our audience, guys. I love all of your insights and your comments, and everything's so positive. And join us next week.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Valerie. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.